My name's Curtis Daniel III. I'm one of the two owners of Patchwerk Recording Studios. Been here since we started in '95, so this year makes 21 years for me. I don't do any music. I'm rarely in the room. Deal with like the business aspect of it, from doing payroll, hiring people, scheduling, booking, and stuff like that. Just the day-to-day operations of running a recording studio is what I do. So the studio opened in '95 after I graduated from college from Michigan State. Dungeon Family and Outkast and Goody Mob was Atlanta royalty, and back then people would look at albums to see where people were recording, and by us being on those multi-platinum albums, it kind of gave us credibility, and then everybody else started working here, from the Ludacris's to the T.I.'s to the Jeezys to the Monicas to the TLC's and everything else that went on. Yeah, so our very first client back in '95 was Outkast, and original owner of the studio was Bob Whitfield. Bob and I grew up together from kindergarten through high school. Bob got drafted by the Falcons, and still to this day, 20-some years later, Rico Wade is probably like one of the biggest Falcons fans in Atlanta, and we found that out. And so we contacted Peaches. We hear that Rico's a Falcons fan. Would you like to go to the game? And she was like, yeah, we want to go. We need about 22 tickets. And when they all came to the game, I made them do a studio tour. So we was at the game with Outkast, TLC, Goody Mob, PA, KP, everybody. They came back after the game, and then they started recording. And that was our first session. And they did elevators in the studio.
But yeah, so this area is just where we store stuff that we rent out. Well, nowadays, we kind of include it. We say that if we own it, you can use it. When we first started, everybody was on MPs, SB 1200. And so back in the day, people used to rent a lot of equipment. They didn't want to carry stuff around. So as a studio, you would have to have the hottest keyboards and the hottest drum machines, because when the producers come here, they would just they used to put stuff on their floppy disk. And so they would take all of their sounds that they sampled, throw them into the machine, and then program off of them. But one of the hottest rentals now is the Sony C800. It's a $9,800 microphone. And a lot of studios didn't invest in that mic. So when clients come from, whether it's Kanye or Mariah, or when it was Whitney, they specifically wanted this mic. Like the last time Kanye worked, he didn't even come to the studio. We had to build a rig and take it up to the Four Seasons. So we took the microphone, set a Pro Tools rig up, some speakers, and sent it over there and dropped it off, because they was just like, he don't want to go in studios no more. You can record at home, but you ain't got these.
Yeah, so another record that's a funny story is Rick Ross's record, that BMF. I think I'm Big Meech.
I think I'm Big Meech. Larry Hoover. Whipping. Hallelujah.
One of our mix engineers, Ray, actually, I don't think he recorded it here. We mixed the song here. And Ray is the one that put that in the record. And when he did it, Ross was like, what is that? He told him to take it out. And Ray was like, man, it just adds something to the song. I think you should leave it in there. Lo and behold, that's his signature sound. So yeah, now every time you hear that, that's Ray.
You ain't seen one of these, huh? It's called a binaural microphone. And so the idea is that they basically take the inner workings of your ear and design this like your ear. So what we can do is we can point a sound cannon or a microphone at this ear, and when you listen to it in your headphones, it'll sound like, if I want to take some clippers, you'll start scratching because you'll think of some clippers going down on your leg. So we can point this. So if we want to point it this way, or we want to make it sound like it's coming overhead, these act like your ears, so it recorded like a human.
Being from California, the Dr. Dre called me, was like, Kurt, we coming to Atlanta, and we ain't going nowhere but to your place. So they booked the whole building. They booked all the rooms for a week. Everybody in Atlanta came through here that week when Dre was here. Crazy part about it is we already knew that Dre likes to listen to stuff very loud. So we instructed our engineers. They have like ways where they can cut the stuff on the board where it'll look like you turning it up to 11. The SSL goes up to 11, but it's a limiter on it where it won't come out that high. So all week we had talked to D about it. He was doing a session, so he put it on there where it was really only playing at 8. And as soon as Dre walked in the room, turned that thing up to 11. Like, he looked around, hit about 6 buttons, turned it up. Shit was just rocking. He looked at me, said, I've been working on these damn things since I was 12 years old, man. And then the other thing that was cool, because Tip was up here at this point, because this was probably about 3 years ago. And it just was interesting seeing the respect and the humility that Atlanta and the homage that they paid to Dre. I remember Tip was actually in the booth. Dre hit the button. He's like, hey, Tip, can you try this? And Tip was like, man, I will do whatever you ask me to do. Tell me what you want me to say it, how you want me to say it. I'm gonna do it how you want to do it. And that was not the Dre session, man.
Curtis Daniel III, one of the 2 owners of Patchwerk Studios. You just been given the super access to Patchwerk. Legendary, baby. Appreciate y'all checking us out. Hip Hop Wired.